Good morning. Welcome to Calls Creating and Understanding Self-Empowerment. I'm in a different position right now. I'm still at the halfway house, but I'm not at the table. Not only it's too hot, but when I went out just now, I seen some people at the table. So it is what it is. But anyway, I wanted to talk about a subject, and I've been flirting with it for a while. And what it is okay, like a crisis is going on right now with me, and the closer I get to Thursday, the more threatening it becomes. But I'm not going to pull the trigger on that right now because still a possibility it could be resolved. I hope it's resolved. Nobody injured their eyesight looking on the bright side. Uh, but anyway, some projects that I have been working on, and I've been working on it diligently every weekend when I go home and even when I get off, from here, sometimes even at the halfway house. So some people have kind of familiarized themselves in terms of my objective. Maybe they don't completely understand uh, the function, although they have seen it. So anyway, I told him if something was to happen to me, I would like them to continue on with it. And he said, I don't know how to mess with that. I don't know how to mess with that. And I said, well, that's the thing. You do, but you don't, And the reason why you don't is because we live in an environment these days, and especially the older you get, the environment that we live in, the society that we live in, teaches us that we can't do things, okay? But we wasn't always that way. And I like to always use the example of kids. I like to even use the example of infants, because God instilled with us at birth as human beings that we have the ability to do everything. And sometimes even as a baby, we're going to push forward with certain things. Okay, I'm going to use an example that many people might not agree with. But then I'm going to move on to more modern time. A baby, right? When they get to the stage that for it to start walking, it will walk. And and it ain't gonna be motivated because it see grown folks, other human beings walking by it. It's just that they was born with something in them that just make them move forward. That they're gonna walk, and they're gonna keep walking until they get better at walking, and then they're gonna run, and they're gonna be running in and out the house, and they're not running in and out the house to show you that they can run or walk. It's just that God instilled this thing in us to just study, make progress, right? And you don't understand at that time that you cannot do it. You don't understand I can't walk. Now we just move into like mechanism, right? I can use some type of toy, but I'm gonna use a bicycle. Although the kids these days they don't interact with the outdoors as much as we did when we was older. But I'm speaking to anybody probably over the age of 30. Most of us had bicycles, right? And it was the thing when we got the bike, we wanted the bike. We told our parents we want a bike, right? And we didn't say we can't ride it. We know we just wanted it because can't really wasn't. I wouldn't say our dictionary. It can't just wasn't in our operation. So when we first went out on a bike, right, we might have needed training wheels, or we might needed somebody to hold us to give us balance, right? But the more we did it, the more we became capable of riding the bike. We learned our balance, and we went on, and we drove off on the bike. And not only did we drove off on the bike, we rode in front of people on the bike just to show people that we could do it on our own. Okay? And this is how a lot of things are, because your ability sometimes have limitation, but not your potential. See? You can always move up with potential because your potential lies in all your ability. At one time what you couldn't do, now you can do. Because all this comes from just putting things in practice. But if society dumb you down and think that you cannot do a thing, well, you're not going to try a thing. You see? And I'm just going to use the example of bikes right now. Okay, we're in the year 2024. We drive. Bikes is an old invention. But just say bicycles had just got invented January this year, right? So now, with the help of social media, we'll see people riding on bikes and be like, you seen this new thing they got? They call bicycles. People riding all around. I see one little guy popping a wheelie on it and all this here, right? Okay, you probably would feel like, man, I could never learn to do that, right? And genuinely, with conviction, you might feel that way because, you know, there's other things to keep you mobile. But this is the thing. You won't try it because of the fact that you just got up in age and it's not for you. And even if you do try it, it might become more of a struggle for you as someone older because of the fact that I don't need to learn this here, or I know how to get by another way. Well, that's the same way with everything else, ability, right? Meaning that sometimes we stuck in one situation because we getting by, you know? So we don't need to learn a new thing to get by. And so it comes down to where it's like we get by with it because we scared to go another way because society have kind of trained us that we can't do certain things. Anything that someone else can do, you can do. You know, I use the example that when I came to the halfway house, I had been in prison 25 years, about to make 26. And I did a lot of working out, running and doing. And this was my signature. If you didn't know who I was, or you do say the old guy that do all the running and doing all the workout before you go to work and after you get off from work. That was me. That was my signature. But I had never dealt with picking up iron weight. But when I got here, there was weights, right? So as a result of it, in March, I started picking up weights. And I remember when I went out there, my ability only allowed me to pick up 15-pound weights and raise them up like this, maybe 2 times with strength, right? Because my ability had maxed out, okay? My ability, but not the potential. Now I go out there and pick up 50-pound weights like that, right? Because of the fact that, hey, I developed myself to be able to do that. And it's the way with everything. My job, you know, certain things that I didn't know when I went there, now I could do it. You know, anything that you encounter for the first time, right, is new to you. So you don't know how to do it, you know. But the more you encounter it and start dealing with it, the more you learn about it and the more you become a master at doing what you're doing, because maturity is an outward appearance. Right now, you might can't write music, you might can't read music, but if you take a class for the next 60 days, you'll be able to write music, you'll be able to read music, okay? Maybe you might don't turn into Babyface or some other composer that have made millions off it, but you would understand how to do it because everything lies in you. All the potential to do everything lies right inside you. So I tell people, don't be scared to do anything, you know. And sometimes the only way you're going to get out your rut is to try something different. The only way you're going to get something new, you got to try something different, you know. The only way you're going to go forward and enlarge your life, you got to try something different, you know. Like I said in many podcasts, you know, you're never great at anything you start, but you won't get great until you start.